Hi, it's Rich Tehrani here in the TMC Newsroom with a live studio audience for the first time in TMC Newsroom history. Today we're speaking with Hunter Newby, who is the founder of Allied Fiber, on an initiative that we've worked on together, which is the dark fiber community.
Yep.
And Hunter, can I just ask you briefly,
Sure.
what are some of the things that we're looking to do together on this dark fiber community, from your perspective?
Community in general is to raise awareness and educate en masse in a very broadcast sense, using the tools that you guys have done a masterful job of creating, which I refer to as the steel structure behind all of the content and the images and the search engine optimization, which is key, across multiple markets and industries and different segments within them. So we happen to be focusing on the dark fiber community as it relates to Allied Fiber and the dark fiber business. But all the same elements of the community on TMCnet could be reused, repurposed, and reapplied for other dimensions within communications or anything. So beyond fiber, we could have a transport community, we could have a transit community, we could have a voice over IP community. And the community, in the sense that what I'm referring to and what we've done together with dark fiber community, is that it isn't just a billboard for one company, like my own. It's that we are the host, and the community is broken up into neighborhoods. And the neighborhoods are different verticals, or groups, or horizontals, I should call them, of interest within that community. So, for example, within the dark fiber community that we're the host of, the very first neighborhood is transport equipment vendors, dense wave division and Ethernet. Why? Because if you're looking to lease fiber, you're going to need equipment. It's very logical. So who are the members of that neighborhood? The equipment vendors.
Sure.
And then in the next layer, I mean, because that's sort of core transports, then in the next neighborhood are the wireless backhaul folks. Why? Because wireless interplays with core transport. And the next neighborhood is the network management folks, the people that will install and monitor and manage your equipment out in the field. That, you know, consists of a dark fiber network, if you as a network operator don't want to do it yourself. And then the final neighborhood, as it exists today in the dark fiber community, is the co-location providers, the non-Allied Fiber regeneration sites that are in the major cities, which would be third-party vendors to anyone that wants to build a network. The concept is that a community isn't a community of one. It's a community of many, and the many are broken out into these segments that very logically interplay with each other. And again, we could take that to transport. It's a very clear example. Someone that hosts a transport community. It could have multiple transport providers in it. That could be searchable by region, by state, by country, by whatever.
Right.
And then transit, same thing. ISPs, although it gets more generic when you talk about the public internet because that's a global thing. Transport is more location-based. You know, you could have subsea, or you could have New York Metro, or you could have, you know, the tri-state area, wherever that may be for whoever the audience is, etc.
So how would people communicate on a community?
Well, you know, the traditional method of gaining information just by going there and reading blog entries, reading articles, reading white papers, reading things that are specific and pertinent, as it is from the member of that particular neighborhood brought to the fore. So what their specific message is for that particular community is embodied in a white paper there, for example. And then after the audience, a viewer, reads it, they say, oh, that's very interesting. They can actually request to meet with that individual through the Deal Center, which is a system that was created to facilitate one-on-one meetings with basically anybody. And it was originally created for conferences, trade shows, to make time spent more efficient and more effective, and the end results more beneficial. That same concept now has been brought online. So it's essentially like a 24/7, 365 conference where anyone can attend at any time. It doesn't cost anything. They don't have to travel. They can go into this community. They can learn, like visiting booths, read, and then request contact. And what I encourage, and I think we all do, is that the information's relevant. It's not, you know, the 50,000-foot elevator pitch. It's something specific because the members of the neighborhood know that the audience is geared specifically towards that particular dimension, and that the point of contact is actually someone that understands the subject matter and can answer questions and, you know, engage with a prospect, which ultimately lead to hopefully a sale the resolution of a problem or a need on one end and generation of revenue on the other, which is the ultimate goal for all of the communities in the way that we've architected the dark fiber community.
So if I can summarize, the goal of the communities is to take a model which is tried and true in the physical world, which would be conferences, events, something like that, and we're replicating it online by dividing up important topics into you call them either verticals or horizontals or neighborhoods, so that let's say if we were to look at a trade show where you would divide a trade show into different segments of technologies or different segments of markets, whatever they happen to be. If it happened to be, let's say, a food trade show, maybe you would have hot food and cold food, food preparation. And what we are doing is bringing that into the online world, allowing sponsors / advertisers to take advantage of a highly focused community of people that are interested in learning more about those topics.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And then the ability to go through that and engage with the person on the other end, and not just a generic marketing person that stands at a booth, but a subject matter expert. And that's based upon the member of the neighborhood bringing a person into that role to make it more efficient and effective. It's not just the info at or contact me at name.com. It's this is the person responsible for that particular product in the context of this community.
Right. So the TMCnet community idea actually seems to embody the best of a conference that not only has a speaking slot where a company goes to a show and speaks about something and speaks to a group of people and educates them, but also the exhibit side. So it's really the marketing through education as well as the branding of the booth where you're generating the feedback mechanism via the clicks and the engagement online.
Essentially, we have the genesis of that here. This discussion is the basis of the template of all the foundation of all the communities. So we're giving our presentation to the audience now about what this idea is. They can come back and revisit this someplace in time later. Forward it.
Link.
So it's not like they had to be at a particular conference at a particular time, but they couldn't make it for whatever reason and they missed it. It's been captured, and now what we're discussing is this philosophy, this vision, and the architecture moving forward such that you could approach any one of those different areas, food or whatever, outside of communications and the traditional things, and say we can take your entire industry and break it down into neighborhoods and fit the right people into the right place to make life easier for the buyer so that they don't have to do all the traveling and the time and coordination, and they can get the information they need and make the contact that they need, and it just speeds up the whole process.
That's great. Well, we've been speaking with Hunter Newby. Thank you so much, Hunter, for your time.
Thank you.
He was the founder of Allied Fiber and a tremendous contributor to the dark fiber and other communities on TMCnet. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.